that's why I used to not like Twitter,
Yeah.
because I would go on there and I felt like it was like all these young bro marketers that were, remember when Chris went on a tear and he was like using all of the same like guru quotes, like
Oh,
there's a
yeah.
lesson in that, like that was a big thing. They would post something and say there's a lesson in that. Like, and I would get so frustrated between that and like the politics. I would like get angry.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Twitter's not a safe place for me. And then it started to change. And when you started to have the lists and you started to have, and they started doing the tweet threads, I was like, whoa, this is becoming more valuable. People are putting higher quality content in there. It's almost like mini blogs. And that's when I started to get interested in it again.
Right.
And I specifically remember we're getting ready for coming up, in July. I'm going on this 4th of July trip. And last year, I remember kind of rediscovering Twitter and reading a lot and starting to create some of those lists. But you should definitely check it out, because one of the nice things about the lists is you can put people in the categories. So like, do you want to have politics, sports, finance, business, like whatever, you can kind of categorize them to look at what you want and have it be clean, but there's no ads in lists. So if you look at your For You page or your following page, there are ads and there are tweet suggestions. And I don't care. I don't want to be suggested random people, especially when every other suggestion is like an AI guru, which I don't want to see. So I think you would like the lists. I think it'd be a better user experience for you.
I'm sure it's probably better than me just going in there and like getting annoyed by people or just not believing. I'm so scared. I don't know. As I get older, I'm like so skeptical of everything, and that's probably normal. But like I've been in the online industry now for eight years, something like that, 7, 8 years. And I used to believe everything and be really inspired by everything. Like, oh, this is so great, man. That story is so cool. Now, like when I see a story, like one of the people I was going to bring up, well, there's actually two. Cody Sanchez.
Okay, I know who that is.
Yeah, she buys boring businesses, and then you've got Alex
Hormozi. She's the one that does. She bought the laundromat. That's her big thing. Is the laundromats. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like her and Alex Hormozi are very similar. Like I feel like they're kind of like similar business concept type. I don't know, not similar business concepts, but they're acquiring companies and they're talking about all this stuff. But at the same time, I don't believe anything they say. And I don't think that that's fair to them. But I look at the stuff that they're tweeting and they're saying, and I'm like, I think half of this is bullshit. Like I just something in my, like my,
the numbers,
spidey senses and stuff. I'm just like, I'm like, okay, Cody, this could totally be true. I, to be fair, like this might 1000% be true, but it's like, I bought, 75 businesses doing $100 million in revenue. And I'm like, okay, operationally, like, because I have employees now and like, we're starting to put together a real team structure and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, buying 75 different businesses. Like, what does that mean to run 75 businesses? And like, does that mean that she bought them outright? And I'm sure she talks about this stuff, but like, I'm just like the claim of like, I bought 75 businesses and now we're doing 100 million in revenue. Like, is that 100 million top line? Is that 100? Like, what is that? Or is that 100 million projected? Like nobody talks about that stuff. So then I sit there and I go like, I don't know if I believe this because they're leaving out the stuff that like a business owner would talk about. So like, that's where I go, but I don't think that that's fair, because it probably is legit, they're just marketing themselves. So that's what I get. I scroll through Twitter and find stuff like that. And then I get annoyed by it and I don't tweet anything.
Well, and it's also hard because I see this like with TikTok content, and it's like, if you start to get into the real stuff, like if you get too in depth, crickets.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, I know that's tough. Yeah.
And so it's this like balance of the stuff that's going to get you eyeballs and it's going to give you growth, and then creating that depth. So that's hard, and I don't, that's something I'm always trying to navigate. Like, what is that? Like, what's, no, but that's interesting. Yeah. I take a lot of things with a grain of salt. I think a big thing when I think about now, when I am thinking about who I'm consuming, is are they living the life I want, or are they living an aspect of the life I want? I really do like to categorize people. And so if I can have somebody that's like, the person that I'm going to listen to for business or, faith or family, like those are not always the same people.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important thing. But yeah, you have to wade through all that nonsense.